All right, free radicals of all shapes, sizes, colors, denominations, orientations, educations, and yes, even party affiliations. Aloha from sunny Florida on the very last day of the decade, 2019. What will 2020 bring? Will Tulsi Gabbard do really well in these primaries and absolutely just, I don't know, mess with the media's brains? Let's hope. And by the way, I hope she messes with a lot of these so-called progressives, too. And I know people don't want me mentioning names, but they're everywhere now. They're everywhere. I tweeted out yesterday that I'm not feeling the burn anymore. Sorry, burners. And I think it was the DNC Unity ad. And I'm just like, really? He's going there? Joe Biden's head is superimposed right above his? And I'm supposed to go, that was a good idea, Bernie? No, Tulsi wasn't in that because you had to fork over $175,000, okay? And I don't think Tulsi's supporters want her giving their hard-earned money away to the DNC for unity so they can push a neoliberal. By the way, every person in that picture, except for Sanders, and Sanders is borderline, every person in that picture was a neoliberal. So I'm happy that I'm one of these unusual Americans for Tulsi Gabbard. All right, and what does unusual mean? What does this actually mean? How are we being branded unusual? I've covered this article before. This is The Guardian, a neoliberal, ultra-neoliberal British publication, right? They're based out of Great Britain from what I know, and it's weird because they're covering this election like they're so on the ground here in America. Anyway, they call people fans. So like a celebrity, we've got celebrity Tulsi Gabbard. Hey Tulsi, can I have your autograph? Of course they're gonna say the supporters are mostly men, even though the picture there depicts quite a few women. Again, here's the implication. That Tulsi Gabbard, being an attractive woman here, I am not allowed to like an attractive woman running for president. By the way, Marianne Williamson is fairly attractive. I like her too. I like Jill Stein. I think Jill Stein, her look is a little bit different. A little bit more on the Elizabeth Warren side of the looks category. I don't really care. What I care mostly about our policies. Now, I'm sure there are a few men who look at Tulsi and say, wow, be cool to have a good-looking president, right? We haven't had one in quite some time. When's the last good-looking president we've had? Women might say Obama or Bill Clinton for a while. Women were swooning over both of those gentlemen. The Bushes, nah, I don't think so. Ronald Reagan, maybe when he was younger. Jimmy Carter, no, sorry. Of course, women may disagree with me. Gerald Ford, nah. Richard Nixon, nah. LBJ, definitely no. John F. Kennedy, okay, there you go. JFK. You have to go back quite a ways, I think, to get a real honest-to-goodness, good-looking president. Of course, Obama and Bill Clinton, people might say the same thing. So why is it bad to have a woman who's attractive running for president? And I tell you, I guarantee you, there's jealousy from some of these, especially these female neo-progressive and neoliberal commentators. Tulsi looks better. She works out. She's very sincere about her faith. That drives people crazy on all sides. People that have religion, people that don't have religion, for some reason. It just, again, I don't get it, because diversity and celebrating that used to be a thing. Or it's supposedly a thing, but then nobody really follows through on it. When the rubber meets the road here, you've got a Hindu running for president who's a female combat veteran with 2 tours under her belt, okay, who's seen the cost of war, who was elected at age 21, I believe, to her state legislature. who's only 38 years old, who has a resume that most presidential candidates would kill for. And yet we can't celebrate diversity there. No, you know why? Okay, so here's a couple of reasons why. All right, I'll go down the list. We'll skim this again. I've read this article a little bit here and there. So you've got a grab bag of veterans. Oh, goodness, a grab bag. What is that? Grab bag. They're a grab bag. Some of them are... it reminds me of a Friends episode. Is it a crap bag or is it a grab bag? See, that's kind of what they're trying to say here. Is that, oh, you can't have... I mean, these veterans, they're kind of screwed up. Yeah, and who screwed them up? We did. And who's to say they're screwed up anyway? I mean, grab bag? Come on. Anti-war activists. Okay, so peace-loving people. Ex-Bernie Sanders supporters. Why would ex-Bernie people be flocking to Tulsi? Because they don't believe Bernie. They don't believe he's going to follow through. They want a younger, better version of Bernie, and that's what they got. Oh no, ex-Jill Stein voters. Oh no. You can't... Look, again, if I had that vote back in 2016, Jill Stein. I would have voted for Jill Stein. And at least one Donald Trump fan. Again, Trump has fans, Tulsi has fans. They don't have supporters. Look, again, I'm not sympathetic to Trump, but there are a lot of people that voted for Trump because they had nowhere else to go. And you'll say, oh, they could have voted for the neoliberal and she would have just, everything would have been peaceful. No, we need to shake things up. Trump is phase one. Trump is phase one, and a candidate like Tulsi Gabbard would have been phase two. And here's why Tulsi would be way better than Trump as president, because she would actually unite the country. The polarization, she'd be on TV. See, Trump doesn't do this. Trump doesn't go on TV and plead for unity and say, look, because he's got no humility. He has no... There are certain personality traits that Donald Trump does not have. And by the way, if you're religious, if you're a Christian person, and you believe in your faith, and you're looking at Donald Trump as your example, he's not. He's not. And anyone who supports him, who's strident, you know, whether was it Jerry Falwell Jr., just really bad take. Really bad take on... Tulsi went on YouTube or whatever right before Christmas and said, hey, we're celebrating the birth of the Prince of Peace. Whoa, zing! I love that. That was awesome. I was going to wear my Blessed Are the Peacemakers t-shirt just to kind of go along with it. I don't know if I did or didn't. I forgot maybe. But that is such a zinger to most of the Christian world because... at least here in the United States, where Christianity has become a bunch of warmongers. You know, let's go and find a just war doctrine, which is nowhere. It's nowhere in the Bible, really. It's something that was formulated. I don't know if it was St. Augustine who did it. I forget who. But Jesus didn't teach, blessed are the warmongers. Blessed are the justified warmongers. He didn't say it. So... it's mind-blowing to me, the coalition she's put together of people of faith, people of no faith, by the way, atheists. They're fine with Tulsi because she's a libertarian. She's part libertarian, and she says, hey, you have faith, great. If you don't, that's fine. But she's not sort of bending her knee to the crowd that says you can't have any religion in the public square. Which a lot of people on the right feel as though that's something that's been happening over the past, 50 years. And I would have to kind of agree with that sentiment. I would say you've got a right to religion and you've got a right to no religion. And you should be accommodating both viewpoints. And I think Tulsi does that well. They go on. There was a bearded man wearing a multicolored wool hat who was carrying a big stick that he kept banging on the floor. Oddballs. Unusual Americans. There goes another unusual American. A bearded man wearing a multicolored wool hat. You know, you could just make this stuff up and put it into the article. You could. Nobody would even know. And the fact that this person felt like they had to document that Well, I mean, because there's got to be bizarre people at almost every campaign event, by no matter who it is. I mean, Joe Biden event could be some weird person walking around. Oh, there was a weird guy walking around. Okay, thanks. That's certainly representative of most of their supporters. Thank you for pointing that out, because there are no weird people, actual weird people in the world. And who's to say the big man the man who was carrying the big stick wasn't a decent person because he was wearing a multicolored wool hat? Isn't that? It's not racist, but it's like classist. That's what it is. It's like it might be some poor guy who's down on his luck. Might just be somebody who could be a homeless vet. We don't know. An ex-Navy seaman was there bantering with Gabbard about her service in the Army. Okay, so again, military veterans, especially the ones that have decided that we should give peace a chance, those are unusual Americans. Oh, and here's a big one. Free Julian Assange. Stop the torture. Yeah, because we can't be supportive of free speech. We can't look at this and say this guy was a journalist who is exposing war crimes, and nobody wants to talk about Julian Assange. If you go on Twitter, everybody's talking about Julian Assange. Everybody. People are really concerned this guy is not going to make it. He's not going to make it. He's going to be tortured. He's going to be starved. And again, if he passes away, that is another little or large blow to free speech in the world. That's somebody who is trying to save lives, basically. He's trying to save lives. He's like a missionary. He's trying to save people. And yet, this is what our media is doing. They're just making all of these people sound bizarre, strange, and weird. Tulsi Gabbard is not a weird or unusual person. Here's what makes her different, is the fact that she stands for principle. She knows what she believes in. She's comfortable in her own skin. She welcomes support from all different quarters, whereas none of the other candidates do. None of them do. And they won't go on certain networks because they think everybody is a racist or a misogynist or a homophobe or whatever it is. Xenophobe, that's another one. Oh, you're a xenophobe. Okay, I like America. Doesn't mean I think America's better. Just I like living here. But you're a xenophobe. Oh, okay. All right. And this is why we are living through some very strange sort of Orwellian times. And I've said it before on this channel, and I'll continue to say it. We need free speech in this country, no matter how offensive that speech is to you. All right? If you're triggered by it, don't listen to it, don't watch it. I remember in the 80s, there were a lot of liberals that used to lecture me and say, hey, if you don't like something, turn it off. And that's my advice today. So I've done a 180 on what they said to me back then. Because I thought, well, it's offensive. But the founders, they wanted offensive speech protected. Because they knew once people started to attribute some offense to speech, that they would somehow tie it to censorship and say, oh, you can't say this because we've all collectively agreed that this can't be said. And as soon as the mob starts to rule in that area, your ability to communicate with one another goes away. It goes away. It becomes, I can't say that. I'm afraid to say that. I want to say that, but I can't. And that's no way to function in your society, in your country. So Tulsi Gabbard, first and foremost, is a free speech patriot. Secondly, she's an anti-war activist. She's serious about anti-war, but she comes from the perspective that it's wasteful, it's destructive. I would say it even just tears down the fabric of who we are, because we mindlessly export our militarism all over the world, and there are no consequences for that. In fact, other countries, like where The Guardian is from, Great Britain is right there. Great Britain is another neocon, neolib ally in this endless assault on people in the third world. So, funny thing in this article, she doesn't actually say, I'm a weird one. Okay, she doesn't say that in this article. She doesn't walk around and say, well, I'm kind of weird, you know. Maybe she thinks, maybe she has said that. But the way they put this together, she's walking around saying, I'm just so weird, please support me. No, Tulsi Gabbard is sanity. She's sanity. And she, by the way, she wants to unite the country, and she's the best equipped candidate to do so. We're running out of time, though. We're running out of time. We're about to enter 2020. The primaries are coming. And I'll be honest, she's got to do really well. She's got to surprise people. She's still raising money. There's a deadline. I know she needed like $1 million. I think she's close. I've donated quite often to this campaign, and I've not donated to political candidates in a long time. I can't remember the last time I actually gave money to a political candidate. The other candidate I would give money to is Lisa Savage, who is running for Senate in the state of Maine. Put your money there. We need to start a movement. We need to keep this ball rolling. No matter what happens, we've got to smile and be peaceful and resist in a way that's constructive, not in the way the Trump resistance has gone about their life here. We got to do something more. And tell you what, I'm not going away. This channel is going to keep going. We're going to keep persisting. We're going to talk Tulsi, but we're also going to talk Green Party. We're going to talk about where we go, what we do in our local communities. If you've got somebody who's a warmonger running again for Congress, you've got to find somebody who can oppose them and not be a warmonger to start with. I mean, we can't just run this country as like the military empire that bases its economy on just the military. But that's kind of what we're doing. We got infrastructure to fix. We got schools. We got kids to educate. You can go down the list of things. Healthcare. Clean environment. Come on. I mean, this is a no-brainer. So all of these things, though, apparently are unusual. And I will continue to be an unusual American and be proud of it in the new year. So before I go, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to this channel. I'm going to be honest with you, revenue is starting to tank this time of year. Advertisers begin to pull ads off of YouTube. It happened to me last year on my other platform. I wasn't doing anything differently. The number of views dropped drastically, and then the advertising just went away. And I really took a hit. So a one-time donation to this channel is helpful via PayPal. You can also click on the link over to Patreon. Keep in mind, Patreon is where my music channel is, and I post things that are related to my music channel over there, so don't be afraid. It's me. That's what I did before this, and I continue to do that channel because I've built that channel up quite a bit, and I enjoy doing the music. Otherwise, you know, I would quit doing it and just stick to politics, but I wouldn't be able to make a living doing this channel alone. It's impossible. Unless, of course, you know, I become Kyle Kalinske overnight, which I don't think is going to happen. I'd like to be more like Tim Pool. That's the guy I kind of model myself after, at least as far as where I'd like to go and how I'd like to do commentary. And he and I kind of do the channel the same way, where we're in a little box in the corner and we're commenting on an article and so forth. So that's kind of what I'm modeling after. I'm not exactly like Tim as far as my political beliefs. Tim has kind of jumped the shark a little bit and has been defending Trump and what he's going through and so forth. And I can empathize with that, but I also can't go there because I think Donald Trump is a destructive force, and you'd have just a better country if you had a better president, and we can do better than Trump. And I think we should be talking about Tulsi and whoever else comes along. Maybe it's in a different party. I know it's a tough go if you're a third-party candidate and people just laugh at me and say it's impossible. But nothing is impossible if we put our heads together and our votes together and our feet together and our hearts together and we just work it through. because that's what we're going to have to do. So, yeah, keep following this channel, keep subscribing, keep watching the videos, and if you can contribute, thank you. If not, I completely understand. There are a lot of people who send me messages about being on a fixed income, not knowing where, their next meal is coming from and so forth. That's because we're the unusual ones. We're the ones that are the working class. We're the ones that are struggling to make ends meet. We're not the 1%. We're not the Pete Buttigieg fans here. We're not corporatists. Our world is different. We actually have to worry about money. So that's a lot different from, I guess, a certain part of the population that will probably be the ones who elevate whatever candidate gets to the finish line for the Democrats. In the meantime, we just continue to hope and pray for miracles. Go Tulsi, go 2020. The primaries are coming. All hands on deck and all contributions as much as you can out to Tulsi, and if you can help me out, that would be awesome. All right, I am done with this channel. I will see you very soon, and thank you again for watching, and Happy New Year.